everyone, Michelle Markey with Medina Domestic Art Studio, here to talk about how to color the alligator. And this is specifically using these Sparkle Pop pens. One is green and the other is blue. And I've started doing some of the coloring here, so I want to just show you here real quick, but let's talk about these pens here for a minute. The great thing about these Sparkle Pops is that they're actually not just one color, but they're two. In the case of the blue, the predominant color is blue, but it has actually green undertones. So I'm gonna just show you there that real quick. I'm gonna come in here, color in this area, and you'll see real quick how it does have a tendency to look kind of bluish, but also iridescent green all at the same time. And this was the whole reason that I chose these colors to begin with. I really, really liked the way it looked as far as if something had to be colored on an alligator, I wanted to look kind of scaly and iridescent, kind of like maybe a real alligator skin might look like after it's, very wet. I'm just going to color this in here real quick and show you what that looks like. Okay, now that is the blue. Now let me just kind of give you what the green looks like. And by the way, I'm not going to color the entire thing here. I think the instructions are pretty self-explanatory, but there were some just some ideas that I wanted to pass on to you as tricks and tips as far as how to color this. I actually will show you here in a minute how to use fabric medium on some of the drier areas that I did already on this. But in the meantime, I'm going to come down here and show you now what the green looks like. And if I get that green kind of close up to the edge, you'll see it has more of kind of a greenish tone than the blue did, but it too has a bit of blue undertone. So it's one of the reasons that I really like this. It was just kind of vaguely enough difference to make it interesting on the alligator without having to use a strong contrast. I do want to encourage you to go look at the other video, which does show you alternate ways of coloring. Because the one thing that's kind of not so great about these Sparkle Pop pens is if they get washed regularly, some of the color and the bling will come out after a number of washings. The other thing that you have to pretty much do in order to maintain the colored fastness is to use fabric medium. And I'm not, it kind of defeats the purpose of using Jelly Roll pens because it's supposed to be super easy. But you do have to do that if you're going to wash it at all. Otherwise, this color will completely wash out, and you don't want to have that happen. Okay, I want to talk about a couple of things here, particularly on the head, which is a little different than my actual picture. And one of the things right off the bat is I used the clear number 700 pen in order to color inside the alligator mouth. And y'all notice that I used yellow. Several of the students in class have suggested this as a blingier way than using the yellow. And as you can see, I really think it looks better in the long run, particularly since you're going to use the yellow for the teeth. I felt like you wanted to have a more of a contrast when you go to color in those gaping jaws on this particular guy. So you can see that makes quite a bit of difference, having the clear in the background and with the yellow teeth. Okay, now one of the other things I want to point out is what I started doing here on the pink. And you can't see this in my picture because basically the tongue is completely blinged. And for those of you who aren't going to use bling, it was probably difficult to be able to tell one way or another how this was colored. So I'm going to start out with number 720, which is the pink. And I'm just going to come in here and color. And I just pretty much alternated the colors along its tongue. Now, even for those who are going to use the bling, as I've mentioned before, I think it's a great idea to go ahead and have some color behind the bling so that there is some kind of coloring contrast. It also helps kind of pop the bling out. Okay, so that's that one, and then I'm going to come along and use number 721, which is dark pink. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have done that, but again, this is going to be colored with bling. So for those who aren't, just be a little careful to alternate it. I think it looks better that way. But if you make a mistake, you know what? Who cares? This is yours, and I don't think a whole lot of people are going to be able to tell. Okay, so that gives you an idea about that. Now, let's real quick go over fabric medium, and this is pretty straightforward. I don't even use, I mean, you can pour it out in a little palette, but frankly, I just dip directly into, and I do color over the alligator wherever I've used. In fact, if you did the whole thing, it won't hurt. You can actually use that. Interestingly enough, when I do put this on wet, it does tend to bring out the green in the area that I'm doing here. It'll initially look like it dulls the bling, but once it dries, the bling pops out and you don't have any problem seeing that. And I'll just do a little here on the blue. But I do recommend you do this because, I don't know, I didn't find the Sparkle Pop pens quite as forgiving as, say, the Jelly Roll Stardust pens. I mean, these are still the best. Even though I use Kaisercraft, I do use Sargent Arts glitter pens. Those are all good, but the standard that I have, the highest standard is this. Okay, again, I'm not going to color the entire thing. Follow the instructions, and you should be able to color the alligator with very little issue. However, if you do have any questions, you know, as always, you can contact me at Medina Dom Arts, MEDINADOMARTS @AOL.com, or you can contact me at 303-818-3625. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy your coloring.